Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Oh, you sound so much better when you did it that way the second time. How are you? My name is Larry Brunson. I am the executive director for Brooks Crossing in the city of Newport News. I'm a part of the city manager's team. And just a few seconds, I'm going to let the team introduce themselves. But to kind of preface what we're doing, this is going to be a free-flowing, interactive conversation. We're not teachers and you're not in the classroom. We're all working out these strategies together. We have a great team to have some great examples of real life purposes that they have included into their program. They're going to share those with you, but you're going to share some things with us as well. So you're at the closing the opportunity gap, which means that given the resources in your youth programs and leveraging resources and partners and all the things that can come into play in a youth program, guess what? You can make it better for everyone. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the team, and they're going to give you a slight introduction of themselves. And then Nikki, to my right, is going to help you out because these strategies that we're talking about, the problems that we have, first of all, can I get at least 2 volunteers? We got like, what, 25 people in the room? So can I get 2 volunteers first, or should I select the volunteers? Which one would you want? Because I'm going to select the people that don't want to be selected. So can I get 2 volunteers? I got 1. Oh, no, we got you. Thank you. We got you. We got another one over here. We got you. So now, are you from Philly? Are you in the Philadelphia group? Oh, Kentucky. Well, Kentucky's in the house. So Kentucky's in the house. Louisville is in the house. Okay. So Louisville in the brown will be our volunteer number 1. And this young lady, what was your name? Oh, good. We got, go with it. Go with it. So let me tell you what you have just volunteered for. So we are going to break you up into 2 groups. Your group number 1, Louisville, your group number 2, you are the group leader. And basically, as we're going to pose some questions to you, and then you're going to answer it in the best way you know how. And Nikki's going to help you with how you're going to answer that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the queen of STEM, Lisa Z. We call her Lisa Z. She'll give you her full name because I can't pronounce it. She works for the city of Newport News as a project manager. And then we also have Nikki Virgil. She's New Horizons, a Workforce Youth Center in Hampton. We have Dan Carrera, our YouthBuild program coordinator, and so many other things that we want him to be. He's all that in a bag of chips. We are missing Rachel Ambrose. She's our regional program manager for Peninsula Regional Education Program. Lots of things with that, workforce, literacy, a whole bunch of things that goes into that. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the mic to Lisa Z, the queen of STEM.
You're so funny, Larry. Hi, everybody. For anybody who answered the polls, I think I said hello to you. Anybody respond or get a message from me? Nope. Okay. Wow. Okay, you did? Good. I am Lisa Z, Lisa Zahroldine, but everybody calls me Lisa Z. I'm a project manager in our City of Newport News City Manager's Office. I was in WIA, and then I moved to WIOA, and then I was at Not Up for a while, and my career has kind of pivoted. And right now I've picked up this new toy, and it's called STEM Learning Ecosystems. And we are coming on the radar with Department of Labor and your senators. So we'll talk about that, but it builds that pipeline of talent, it keeps those students engaged. So hopefully I can help you with a few tips on that today. Thank you. Okay, Dan the man is next. This is Minister Dan the man.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So I know that we are the last group before now and before you guys go back and do whatever you need to do. But my name is Dan Carrera, retired military, 25 years. And when I retire, I got a chance to work with youth. I really love it for a lot of reasons. It'll kind of hopefully show up my love for working with youth. I am the Newport News YouthBuild director. Also been blessed and fortunate to also be over a couple other grants, which is also entailing with the youth. One of them is the YouthBuild Peacekeepers, which is generated from the city of Newport News, and also Second Chances. And for me, I just want to let everyone know that though we are going to be up here speaking and giving to you, but we're also going to be asking for you guys to give us, because there's a lot of things that we want to take back to the city, because it's not about us up here, it's about our end user, which are the youth. So God bless everybody, and thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Okay, so I'm Nakisha Virgil, and my background is in organizational development, training and development, and workforce development. Hey! So pleased to be with you all here. I'm the program coordinator of the Youth Workforce Center at New Horizons Regional Education Centers. And New Horizon is a huge umbrella of about 7 centers or so. We are in Virginia, Hampton, Virginia, and an office in Newport News. And we just specialize in training your young people to be workforce ready. So under the whole umbrella, we have CTE. We have us, the Youth Workforce Center is one of the contractors from the Hampton Roads Workforce Council. Anybody was in the other session? The session was just before this one. Okay, so we work with Christina. She's the non-federal arm. There's Christina in the back. She's in the non-federal arm, and we are in the federal arm, right? So we are a contractor with the Hampton Roads Workforce Council, and we do both the in-school youth and the out-of-school youth program. And because we work in New Horizons, there are a lot of people coming to us from the in-school CTE program. We have a Center for Autism. We work with all sorts of students, K to 12. It's really an exciting place to be, anybody who's ever come. And then in the evening time, guess what? We have a apprenticeship, Center for Apprenticeship and Adult Training in the night. So our school operates as a daytime for high school students, nighttime training for adults. So our VOACC program is really nestled in there, and I love that. So in any case, I'm gonna go ahead. Is that okay? I'm going ahead and ask you all this question. So we're talking today about leveraging these relationships and collaborations that we have to help close the gap for our opportunity youth, right? And so one of the things we wanted to start off by asking you all is, when you think about that, how many of you all have engaged in these kinds of collaborations, whether it is with YouthBuild, with cities, with industry partners? How many of you all? Right? Okay, so think about this. You're going to laugh at this question, but I'm going to say it anyhow, okay? When you think of doing that, engaging in that kind of relationship, what song comes to mind for you? I'm going to give you 2 minutes. What song comes to mind when you're thinking of, leveraging these relationships and these, in order to create opportunities and close the gap for our youth? Okay, I'm going to give you mine. It's Oops, I Did It Again. My goodness, yes. I could sing it for you. I like to sing, but oops, I did it again. Right? Yeah, that sounded good, right? That sounded good, right? Right. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. I'll do it again. Okay, so that's the song that kind of comes to mind. Anybody else? What song comes to mind? I'm leading somewhere, y'all. I'm leading somewhere. What song comes to mind for you?
I can't sing, but we're all in this together.
That reminds me of a Sesame Street song, right? With those Muppets. Anybody else? Anybody else? What song comes to? So we all in this together. Oops, I did it again. What else? Somebody. Anybody? Don't Stop Believing. I like it. I like it. Give me 2 more. Okay, down here. We will rock you. We will rock you. We should be writing this down. Okay, one more, somebody. Okay, over here. This is Carla. Carla works with me.
It's have y'all ever seen Clueless when they say rolling with the homies?
Rolling with the homies. Right? Okay, and there's a reason I asked you about that, because our first activity, and which is our major activity, one of the things we want to do is kind of get you together and talk about, from your perspective, what are the challenges that you have experienced working with in these kinds of collaborations and with partners in order to close the gap for opportunity youth? And when we talk about closing the gap, it's how do we really have an impact on the young people we serve. Our presentation focuses on the 16 to 24, right, age group. So what kind of challenges have you experienced? And we're going to talk about some of them that we have. And hopefully, throughout the presentation, we want to address some of those challenges as well. Okay, so we want to hear from you. Okay, so we're going to have two groups. It's going to be big groups. Okay. So on this side, we're going to have one group, and on this side, we're going to have the other group. And we're going to ask I know Louisville, my accent, right? Is it Louisville? Right, Louisville. Right. Okay, I know you're going to do. Apologize. I still can't say data. One of them. Yeah, it gives, and I still can't say inventory. We say inventory. What do you use? Inventory? I still can't say it. Okay, so you're gonna be the leader of your group, sir. Yes, you got it. And then you're gonna be the leader of your group, right? So you're basically gonna kind of like see if you can corral everybody. Okay, so we're gonna give you all about 10 minutes. And you want a third person? Okay, so we're gonna do 3 groups instead because the groups are kind of large.
Yes.
Okay.
So pick somebody from that back group over here.
Dung, 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 dung. See, I told you all I was gonna do it again. Dung, 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 dung. Anybody here? Dung, dung, dung. Yes, I got her. Okay, great. So we're gonna do 3 groups because, you know, I'm happy to see you all. I'm happy that you all came. So yeah, we're gonna do 3 groups. Okay, so this is gonna be one group here, one group in the back here, and then over here. And if you find your group is too large, you can, you know, mix and match. Okay, y'all. So 10 minutes, and we actually have paper and pen for you all to scribe. So Lisa and Larry are gonna give you, and Dan are gonna give you paper and pencil. And let's go. So you can get together in your groups now, kind of walk around to facilitate. So you all can get together down here. You might have to move a little bit closer, just to let the voices be heard. So, and I'll walk around to remind you all of the question. Okay, everybody found a group?
You want to do a third group back there?
Yeah, she's doing the 3rd group back there, and then her, and then him. Okay, don't forget to find a group. You're doing good. One, 2, 3. So yeah, the back group has to get that paper.
Gotcha.
That was good. That was good. Louisville.
Not Louisville.
Louisville.
No, Louisville.
Louisville. I can't do it. I can't do it.
So how to get a solution?
Anytime we're trying to bridge the gap, when we're out in the community, making partners for us, we're excited. I know, I was trying to activate it.
So I work with employers and organizations for a national organization here. And the thing is, when there's a job, you need you. And then, but there's no job, you need you there. So then maybe follow their plan and follow through. That's my thing. Forget about it. Or
Okay. Anything else? Yeah, come on here, come on here. I know some folks.
I think it's gonna go 5 more minutes for the 2-minute warning.
5 more minutes. That's what this is going for.
Because the polls are individual comments. It doesn't look like anybody in the audience except for that one lady. Everybody Rob responded with is not here.
I count 40.
No, it's not bad. And we should give them a minute to pick their top, or to, brief, right? Are you taking pictures of what they're putting down? We can, we'll have the sheets. We'll have the sheets afterwards.
Just kind of opportunity. So when you talk about WACC, I have a lot of things that we're kind of. We just have a question. You got 2 minutes left, 2 minutes warning. 2 minutes warning. One more minute. Okay, 1 more minute, y'all.
Okay, good. So you take it.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn.
And a time, and a time, and a time. A time to be born, a time to die. All right, let's get together.
We got a Star Search person. Congratulations, everybody. Say thank you. Congratulations. And I'd like to have the group leaders to come up front for a minute and just come to our left side over here. And in just a minute, we're going to have you to introduce yourself. And then hopefully bring your paper with you so you can tell us what you... They're so excited. I get it. They had a lot of fun. But while they are getting it together, one of the things that I involve myself with when I'm leading other professionals, I talk a lot about one word: collective impact. And guess what? What you just did was an example of collective impact. What is collective impact? Collective impact is just an intentional way of coming together to solve complex problems in an intentional way with one agenda. That's what you did today. Collective impact. So as we're talking about closing the gap, the outcome really is, if it works well, is the result of collective impact. An intentional way of solving complex problems and realizing that one person can't do it, one nonprofit can't do it, one city can't do it. We all have to do it together and still keep our structure, but collaborate. What's the collaboration? I'm going to pull my arm into your resources. You can pull your arm into mine. I'm still going to be me. You're still going to be you, but we're going to get the job done. Amen. So I just said like I was in church. Say amen. Okay. Acknowledge me. So now we're going to go ahead and start out with our number one person in Louisville. Louisville. I'm trying to get it Louisville.
So are we communicating our list to everybody? All right. All right. So on our list, can everybody hear me? Good. I'm Javon Brown Lewis from Louisville, Kentucky, representing our local government there, youth engagement specialist. So on our list is lack of timely communication, stakeholder engagement. A lot of youth serving organizations are within silos, and that breeds competition. So lack of wanting to work together, not leveraging strengths, clarity of audience and ask when building these collaborative networks, timing of opportunities. Sometimes we have the youth, but don't have the opportunities. And other times we have the opportunities, but don't have the youth to step into those opportunities. Community awareness and lack of transparency. So that's both lack of awareness of resources and lack of opportunities within rural communities. Number chasing versus program quality. So people chase numbers instead of actually quality programmatic output. Selfish. So with selfish is lack of external connectedness. People really centering themselves in their own organization and not the collaborative network, and lack of productivity and defining goals. There's a lot of meetings to meet again, to schedule another meeting to meet again, and nothing happens.
introduce myself. Hi, everyone. My name is Emily. I'm from the Greater Scranton Chamber of Commerce, Scranton, just like the office, of course. So we discussed engagement, communication with government entities, budget issues, lack of budget, duplication of services, everyone's reinventing the wheel, competition versus collaboration, high turnover rates and then leaving people understaffed. Industry professionals are leaving. There's no one else to fill those positions. Lack of soft skills, lack of communication and commitment. And then we also said sometimes there's also too much communication. Following up on issues, broken promises, having unrealistic expectations, and conflicting guidance.
And good afternoon. I'm Carla Robinson with WorkSource 3 Rivers. We are located in Griffin, Georgia, but we serve a 10-county rural area. So some of the points we kind of mimic pretty much everything most of y'all said, but we'll go ahead and do our spiel. Confusion in the program or with the program funding. So specifically working with blended funding and making sure we can offer those services efficiently. Capability of the trainers at WEC sites. So, you go out and you interview them and it seems like it's great, but when they go out there, the participant says it's not consistent work when they get there. There's no organization. Maybe somebody else is supervising them for the day. And just not giving effective training on the WEC sites. Some employees don't see the value of training the youth. They want the youth that are all ready to be trained for the job. Competition with other youth providers. Job training programs, mishandling the funds. Again, goes back to not providing effective training. WEC sites, not offering jobs after the WEC ends. Lack of community resources, or we should say information on those community resources, or accessibility resources for mentally challenged, disabled individuals. One of our greatest issues is transportation. They just can't get to the resource. And then there's employer overload with workforce related opportunities or collaboration. Everyone, of course, as she mentioned, is in the wheel and they're going to employers and saying, hey, we can provide this for you. And then the next person comes and the next person in that employer doesn't want to invest in.
Thank you. Hey, thank you to all the presenters. A couple of things that we wanted to make sure that we take a look at, especially for everybody here. There's going to be a lot of interrelationships in regards to what everyone talked about. Some of them are the same, some of them are different. I specifically was just looking at the last presenter where she talks about WECs. If you don't know what WECs is workforce is work experience. And that's very interesting because you want, as you're training these young adults, right? You want to get them in, you want to get them trained, you want to get them employed. So that partnership is very, very important. So why are they not getting employed for whatever reason? So that's that you as whatever the element you are, wherever you're from, that's the communication. Not only are you communicating on the front end with the students, but you need to be communicating on the back end with the employers. That's very, very important because that's what's giving the validity to your program. That's what's giving the validity to your program. You know, we're all chasing our numbers for the most part, not really. What we should be chasing is results. We should be chasing is results. And that's what's going to validate, it's not so much validating you, what it's going to validate is the student. And then have the student come back and talk about that, and we'll speak that. And the other thing we wanted to do was now we're going to get into our presentation, and you're going to see that some of the things that we're going to be talking about, it coincides with what everybody talked about. So at this point, I'm going to bring in Lisa to speak her piece. You got it?
Yeah, thank you. I love the feedback. Can you hear me?
There you go. You got it.
Okay. Thank you. So I love the feedback from you all. We can kind of relate. I liked the comment about the government, whoever made that. I'm a city employee, but I did work at a one-stop. I did work at a board level, staff to the board. So I get it, okay? So now I'm at a city, and our city is very supportive for our programs, and they've kind of let me have full reign on a lot of things. So chasing money, we do leverage, and you'll see all that. So what I'm doing now is kind of focusing on STEM education. And what I did is a very simple chart. This is a brand new concept. It's about 8 years old, so that seems new, right? STEM learning ecosystem. ecosystems. They're in 34 states. Is anybody aware of anything in your state? Okay. So it's coming on board, and Department of Labor is addressing the benefits of a STEM learning ecosystem. And one of my handouts, anybody from Kansas or Arizona? Nope. Okay. Senator Kelly and Senator Moran wrote a bipartisan bill to fund STEM learning ecosystems. So what is it, right? It's basically taken our vocational education and taken it down a little bit. So in the schools, the kids are learning the cyber, okay? They're learning the coding, obviously, the robotics, the hands-on. So that when they get to you in youth services, they've got a skill track of what they've been obtaining. So they're probably going to go into a higher level of training when they're using your WIOA dollars. It's a little bit different. It's not board driven. It's the exact opposite. It is open source, open arms. So when you're talking about the communication with your partners, we share far and wide. And this concept has your nonprofits, your libraries, your museums, your educational partners, and industry. Industry's really driving this because they realize they can't wait until somebody's 18 to hire them. So this is kind of a ground flow. It's mushrooming. But I wanted to share this is just my concept of the difference, right? So it's inclusive. And our particular learning ecosystem, we're in Coastal Virginia, Hampton Roads, Tidewater, we have several brands, but we're kind of open to anybody and everybody that wants to build STEM literacy, awareness, and engagement, helping the kids and adults, multi-generational. And the funding is different from WIOA. You're getting federal funding. We're getting philanthropic. Federal is coming significantly. So that's the difference there. So let me look at my notes. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much what, do you have the clicker? Okay, good, yeah. So sharing, we are sharing far and wide. Our workforce board's engaged, our youth partners are engaged. And this is an activity event that we had October 15th to celebrate NOV8. What is November 8? Election Day. But we didn't celebrate Election Day. We celebrated National STEM Day. It's ironic, right? Because some of our friends are, elected officials. And so that was a joke with them. But you can see that YouthBuild, our partners, Dan, were right there. It's all, I wore my STEM t-shirt. I know I'm not business casual today, but I thought I'd just show you hands-on learning is going into STEM, right? So we had little kids, this young man here with the virtual reality headset, almost designing his own game, is 8 years old. 8 years old. And so NASA was big, and we did get a donation that day, kind of unexpected. This is Triple Helix. They're from one of our local schools. They've won national awards. So watch me on my time because I could talk forever. Okay. So it's very visual. So we have three things that I will touch upon that are alliance. It's like a community of practice, not a workforce board. It's a community of practice. And there's three things that we decided upon. We're champion STEM fluency and competency. We're aligning pre-K to grade STEM programming for every STEM career. And we're an inclusive collaborative community. So think about that. We're not talking about whether you're eligible or not. We're taking everybody where they are. Okay, next slide. Oh no, there's one more. That's it? Okay. The only other thing I wanted to tell you is, so how are we tying our STEM education and our alliance into our programs? We developed a certificate for our YouthBuild students. And so Dan signs it as the executive director for Volunteers of America, and I sign it for the Coastal Virginia STEM Hub. It's not accredited or anything like that, but it shows the employer that the students are learning some STEM skills. So NCCER is the credential, right? You're with me? Okay. You're supposed to ask questions. If I'm missing something, I'm just joking. Okay, great. And I think that's about it.
One
Do we
more
have any
thing.
questions before I leave?
At least I want to add one more thing.
Okay, yeah.
And this is why it's important that not everybody know what NCCER is, the National Center for Construction Education and Research. It's stackable credentials, right? That's what the YouthBuild students get with the 4 credentials. But what's important about that is that's the opportunity to give your students the ability to put something on their resume. We also, and I'll talk about what the YouthBuild does for other things other than NCCER. But once again, we keep talking about the end user. We're talking about this focus group today is closing the opportunity gap. So how are you going to close the opportunity gap for these youth? And how you got a YouthBuild student, you got a non-YouthBuild student, how are you going to put him or her in front of the other individuals? That's what's important. And that's one of the takeaways that we want you guys to leave today, as well as let us know there might be some things that we're missing as well. I'll talk this week. Real quick, one of the educational partners that is not with us today, Ms. Rachel Ambrose, she gave us a slide. I'm not going to talk to the slides, but as everybody knows, since, for the YouthBuild piece, there's 3 components, right? 50% of our time needs to be with GED, 40% of our time needs to be with construction, and the last 10% is education. Leadership development. So Ms. Rachel and her folks from our Peninsula Regional Education Program, they work with us in regards to assisting our young adults in getting their GED. Is it tough? Yes. Is it challenging? Yes. But is it rewarding? Yes. But you got to push through the madness. So that's one of the things, and all these slides should be loaded. And also Ms. Rachel, not only is she working with the youth, but she's also working with adults. She's doing the Navigating Wealth portion, which is under the watch of Mr. Larry Brunson. So closing the opportunity gap. I know this is a youth symposium, but she's also working with the adults as well. And what's beautiful about that is because we're, and it's a cross section, because we want to make sure that when the youth are talking to the parents are getting supported as well, because we only spend a small amount of time with the youth and our organizations, right? So a lot of the learning should be coming from home as well. So we want to make sure that familial type of organization and relationship is there as well. Yes, ma'am, this is you. Okay.
Right. So how many of y'all work with VOACC Title I? Okay, so y'all will understand, y'all would understand everything on this slide, right? Okay, and what it's meant to show is the relationship that we have VOACC Title I. We actually co-enroll with YouthBuild students. So we have a co-enrollment model with them. And as you can see in the gray, both of us do that case management, right? So YouthBuild has a case manager. We have a case manager that's specifically for YouthBuild students. And what happens is, you heard Dan talk about the NCCER and stuff. They are responsible for their occupational skills training. And they do that in construction and construction. And they identify students who are eligible and suitable for VOACC and the VOACC program. And once they do that, we come in and we test them, and we do, you all know what we need to do. Okay, we do all of that. You know, that the assessments and, you know, the application and, you know, the interviews and, you know, making sure that the students will, you know, will likely continue through the program and end successfully, right? And, you know, some of you all talked about that idea of, you know, the measures and the quality of the students and the results that we're going to get. So it's really difficult for us. Who thinks it's difficult? Right? Because your group spoke to it really, really well, talking about the idea of, you know, are we helping the students that we need to help? Because sometimes the students that we need to help, they have so many different barriers. So what we find happening is, with having collaborations such as these, what YouthBuild can't do, they reach out to VOACC to do, right? And what we can't do, we reach out to YouthBuild to do. And so we have more support for the individual through this co-enrollment model, right? And so with having 2 case managers, right? And in YouthBuild, they do also GED. So they're responsible for GED and occupational skills training. We also, in our program, we have a very, very, very small cohort of GED students too, but that's separate from YouthBuild. And we actually work, collaborate with the education, regional education department, Rachel, who isn't here. We also collaborate with her, and we give referrals to her from students who need a little bit more help. So that again, is a collaboration we do so that our students can be successful. You don't only have to come to us. With having these partnerships and leveraging their resources that they have, we find that our students can be even more successful, okay? So, so some of the things that we've done together, or some of the ways we have supported YouthBuild is through leadership development. We've provided supportive services, and the big thing for us is the work experience, because you know we got to spend those dollars. Right? Shake your head if you know what I'm talking about. We got to spend those dollars, right? So this is a win-win. This is a win-win for both of us, right? Some of the, and I have to tell you, because both of our outcomes is unsubsidized employment, or of course moving on to post-secondary education. Because we have that as the outcome, and as the outcome that both of us have to accomplish, we are working together to always do that. And that is one of the things Christina talked about, which having realistic expectations of what the outcomes of the partnership is. That's really, really important, okay? And who is doing what, and who is spending what money, okay? Those things are important to outline from the beginning. Okay, and so is there anything else I wanted to say by the meantime? I'm gonna come back in because I'm gonna read some of this and make sure I've answered any questions that I haven't answered yet, okay? So one of the other things is that even with, we're looking at our out of school program, I'm sorry, in-school youth, because we also do in-school youth program, and they do a lot of high school juniors and seniors involved in STEM-related training and learning and stuff. So we are looking at how we can do that, okay? All right, so who's next?
All right, so I got the opportunity of being the last leg of this race. Oh, I think that's the slide she was looking for. All right, one word that is systemic that you're going to hear about through these next 3 days, and Miss Nikki Virgil has talked about, is partnership. Partnership. You cannot do this by yourself. I was listening to Ms. Brooks earlier. It takes a village to run a village. Think about that. It takes a village to run a village, and that's exactly what YouthBuild is. I could not have done anything in YouthBuild without Lisa Z. I could not have done anything in YouthBuild without Miss Nikki. I could not have done anything in YouthBuild without Miss Rachel. I could not have done anything in YouthBuild without Mr. Brunson and everybody else. So that's exactly what this kind of one slide talks about. Breeding construction, they're our end user. Breeding construction, we got a chance to talk about it. Okay, what's the end result? How can we get these students employed? So when we sat down and talked about it, we talked about the job shadowing program. What does that mean? That means that somewhere immersed in our training, we're going to send that student to that job because he or she wants to do construction. So and I'll show you a success story about that. We were very blessed and fortunate to receive the Virginia Municipal League Award. And it has nothing to do with Dan Carrera. I'm going to tell you that right now. It has nothing to do, because my job is to get out the way. My job as a director is to get out the way. I got a beautiful staff. And the reason why we were successful is because of Lisa Z, because of Ms. Virgil, because of Mr. Brunson, and all the other program partners. Partnership, partnership. I cannot overemphasize that enough. Partnership with the Urban League. They come in every Friday. Remember, 50% of the YouthBuild is GED. 40% is construction, 10% is leadership development. In that 10%, they come and do financial literacy. If you can know how to spend $1, you can spend 100. If you can spend 100, you can spend 1,000. So that's also part of the program. And that fourth quarter is just our partnership. I can't include everybody because it'll kind of just be too heavy to put in there. But partnership. We work with Habitats for Humanity. I can sit and speak ad nauseum in regards to that. The last two there, We do construction. What is it? Carpentry, electrical, HVAC, and plumbing. But guess what? That young man wanted to do welding. Meet him where he's at. Give him what he wants. And guess what? If you move towards that way, he's going to be really pushing forward towards a GED. So we work with some of our partners. He went and did a job shadowing with QED. Now he's on his toes. He's excited about coming to the program because he knows he's got a carrot at the end. That's what's important. It's not about anybody in this room. Our job is to set them up for success. Set them up for success. Our GED, that young lady right there, Miss Parker, awesome with a capital A. Everybody knows who that is from basketball, Dick Vitale. Awesome with a capital A. We were having difficulties getting our folks through GED. Last 8 students who went and tested, 8 for 8. 8 for 8. 8 for 8. And we got 3 more coming this week. We got 2 more next week because she is our consultant for GED. I don't know how she found me, but I'm glad she found me, however she did. But she is awesome with a capital A because it's not about anybody in here. We all got our degrees and whatever else we have in our resumes. It's about getting them ready. And when these students see how much leverage you're putting in, the things that they're doing, all I want from them, I told them, a smile, a high five, and a hamburger. I'm just kidding about the hamburger, but I am serious about the smile and the high five. That's all we want from them. So I talked about a success story. Michael Diaz, and I'll close with this, and I'll turn it over to Miss Lisa. This is what it's all about. That gentleman right there, Michael Diaz, he has a business card. He was at the STEM. Every time I call him, he comes up, what you need, Mr. Dan? I'm here. What you need, Mr. Dan? What you need? He comes and does peer-to-peer interaction. Dan Carrera steps out the way, go talk to him. Let them know that I was here in cohort 3. Let him know that I got picked up through Breeden Construction. Let him know he's 19 years old and they're prepping him to be an APM, assistant program manager. Started off at 15, he's about $21 an hour right now. That's real talk right there. That's real talk right there. And that's what these kids want to hear. They don't want to hear Dan Carrera. They don't want to hear Lisa Z, Miss Nikki, anybody bumping the gums up here. They want to hear from the young man who was in his seat 3 months ago. That's what it's all about. We talk about end user. We talk about end user right there. I'm going to turn it over to you, Miss Lee. Oh, I'm
Okay. So this is awesome, Dan. Thank you. So one takeaway, how many of you are using your success stories to talk to the audience? You are? Bravo. Bravo. I mean, social media is everything, right? But when you have somebody who graduated, when did he graduate?
Cohort 3, September 2021.
I mean, that guy is powerful when he's talking to kids, and he's your marketing tool, right? Okay. I want to go back for a second if I can. Okay, this is what I really wanted to show. Dan took a brand new program. We had never had YouthBuild in Newport News before. And Dan works for Volunteers of America. So our city was happy to partner with our nonprofits. And he, as a nonprofit, works with many others. He had a student get a car. He's had students get clothes, furniture. There's food every day in the programs. We leverage our partners. But see, like I was talking about earlier, look how many times, and this isn't all of it, look how many times the media picked up his stories. Habitat for Humanity, working in our community, and I'm not sure how much time we have, but I didn't say it in the beginning. Okay, yes, ma'am, I'd love to answer your question.
I've got 2 questions.
Okay.
Social media. Do you have somebody in that position to do social media?
We leverage, here again, leveraging, I'm at the city, we leverage communications. And Sarah Bowman in our communications department, they have like this telepathic thing. They don't even text each other. They just know what's going on. She backs him up on everything he needs. She designed, or our communications team designed the logo. They started the brochures. They helped with the website for Volunteers of America. So leverage your partners. And I'm doing this with STEM right now. Who has a web designer? Who has back office person part-time? Always ask, right? But his message has been hitting the television and the print media, and that's how you get employers at the table. We started having employers from Richmond come and talk to Dan and his team about trying to get talent for, up there. And that's about an hour and a half north of us. For anybody who doesn't know the geographic, I should have said that. But I want to just tell you one more thing. I don't know how much time we have, and then everybody can do a wrap up.
We have 10 minutes. You might want to start questioning.
Okay, good. Real quickly though, City of Newport News received $30 million in a Choice Neighborhood Initiative grant from HUD. Is anybody aware of that? You transform a community that's definitely at need, and we had that in our Southeast community. So why is that important? That's an infusion of federal money, and the city ourselves is putting about 180 million into it. But the data that we collected from those communities is what helped leverage YouthBuild grant. You got to have data. And then the Navigating Wealth Building is one of our TANF grants. So if you don't have data and you don't have a Michael Diaz out there marketing for you, and you don't have a city backing you up or another nonprofit, and you don't have media, you're going to struggle.
Let me add something else.
Yeah.
YouthBuild, for those of you who have done YouthBuild, you understand it's really focused on one city.
Yeah.
But because what we have done through the partnership, now we have a cross-municipal collaboration with a couple other cities, and she's sitting back there, Ms. Brooks. So not only have we brought in support for Newport News and Hampton, now we're also supporting her city from Portsmouth, because of the leverage of Lisa Z, because of the leverage of Ms. Virgil, because of the leverage of Mr. Brunson. Once again, it's the partnership, it's the collaboration. We have to, I got you, yes ma'am. We have to remove ourselves away from that and focus on what they need out there. There's three levels, and I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow. There's three levels, and I remember this from the military. There's strategic, there's operational, and there's tactical. Don't worry about the first two. Worry about the tactical. Worry about boots on the ground. Worry about grassroots. That's where we need to be, because that's what's gonna affect the operational, that's what's gonna affect policy.
And we don't have silos.
No ma'am, no ma'am.
So when he has a weekly
there's a question
call,
back there,
we're
too.
all invited. Yeah, so
Right back
we
there.
can do questions.
Louisville.
Miss Lou, let me bring the microphone to you, darling. Okay, excuse me, I'm gonna slide right behind
you. Oh, okay, she's making me say. Renee Douglas, Program Manager for the Youth Engagement Services Division of Louisville Metro's Office of Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods. That's a mouthful. We basically already have what we call the Louisville Youth Network. We partner with the Urban League, Goodwill Industries, YouthBuild, and ourselves. Who am I missing? Am I missing one more? Well, I'm not counting the youth service organizations. We also work with about 80 youth serving organizations. The ones I named are our large partners. So we've got this network of that we work with 16 to 24-year-olds. And so one of our initiatives is now expanding our youth network to include 10 to 15-year-olds. So we will be putting out an RFA for new organizations to become a part of that network. So a lot of the initiatives that you all talk about, we're doing in Louisville. Have to shout out my city.
Yeah, rock on Louisville.
She had a question.
Yes.
Not so there's a question, but just like y'all put up posters, right? Can you give me a snippet in 2 minutes of when you get contact with that individual, right? So you're doing orientation. I want to know the step when you go to orientation
For YouthBuild?
to this next step. And this, what path are we going on? Are we doing GED?
Yes.
What path are we going after that?
Mental toughness. Mental toughness. The way YouthBuild goes, the first thing you do is mental toughness for a whole week or 2 weeks. Are they mental toughness? Not are they physically ready? Are you ready for the grind? Because a lot of times they say they want to do something, but a week later, then they don't show up. So the first thing is mental toughness. Then after that, at least in our program, what we do is for 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks is probationary, because they say they want to do it, but they might not be there, because if I start paying them right away, then they are affecting my numbers. right? For 2 weeks. And if they have an 80% or higher attendance rate, then I know I have them. But if they're below that, they come to the next one. And after that, it's just implementation, whatever it is. And some of them don't want to do construction. So, but they will get a core certificate because it's all about stackable credentials, right? You know, so I tell them, regardless of what you want, this is what you need right now. We're not going to get you into the facility maintenance. Then go upstairs to our GED, and then we start looking at them. The other thing we do with our case managers and our data specialists is the IDP, the individual development plan, and that's where I work with Miss Nikki. They come in because there's supportive services that are involved. Okay, so this is where we collaborate. That's when I remove myself, because guess what? She's got deep pockets and long arms. I don't. So she can go in there and give some money that I don't have. So, but there's got to be that crosstalk. That's the collaboration. That's that partnership.
Yeah, one of the things, just quickly, because I know one of the things that you all really have an issue with, because it's my issue, is that idea of people competing, right? A lot of time your partners, they want to keep what they have. They're doing the same thing you're doing. You're doing workforce, I'm doing workforce, you're doing workforce, I'm doing workforce. I think that came up here. One of the really deep conversations I had with Larry just recently was about that. How do you get people to partner with you when there's such competition for the same people? And he gave me a really good insight. And he talked about the idea of really developing the relationship with the person first. Focusing on the relationship, because sometimes we go in there and we talk about just how we can partner, right? And then the person is like, well, y'all doing the same thing. I mean, are y'all going to do leadership development? We're already doing leadership development. You know what I mean? So developing the relationship first, and just clearly, again, identifying what you will do, what I will do, and us sharing the people, you know? So,
Amen.
yeah.
And in my
Somebody else has a
closing,
question.
no, is there any more questions? But we'll stick around because we have nothing else to do but stay here in Charlotte, enjoy the beautiful weather. How many of you guys are paying stipends to your students? Okay, beautiful thing. That's what they're here for, right? Please, this is what I do. I'm not sure if it's applicable to you, but my stipends are there's got to be a productivity matrix. If they are not producing to whatever it is and whatever you guys are doing in your element, they're going to get mad when they get the $2 check. They're going to trust me. They're going to, well, let me tell you, let's talk about your attendance or lack of. Let's talk about your productivity or lack of. So, and guess what? YouthBuild is, you know, the thing about a YouthBuild program, other programs you guys run, this is the preparation for them in the workplace. You got to show up at 7 o'clock, not whenever I just got up. You got to do this, not because I don't feel like it. So, you know, this is the preparation. You're not going to change anybody in 6 months, but you're going to prepare them. You're not going to change anybody in 6 months. Good luck with that. If you do that, please write the book and I'm going to read it and I'll buy 10 copies. You're not going to change anybody in 6 months, but you will prepare them for, you know, when they become 21 and 24.
So the time has come.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dan. So I hope everyone has enjoyed the presentation, the collaboration, our collective impact that we did in the room today. But we have 2 minutes left. And guess what we have to do before you leave? You have to QR code what's on the wall and make sure you give us your honest opinion on the presentation today. If you'd like to have us back, make sure you answer it according to that. If you don't want us to have us back, call me so I can talk about it. But we're open. Each one of us are open for any presentations traveling, perhaps. If you need some more insights, we will stay behind so that you can get some individual answers. And some of us probably have their business cards as well. But go ahead and QR code the customer service survey form for us. Our information is on the point of contact screen. But please QR code the customer service while we have probably 1.5 minutes left. How many of you have done it already? If you can you raise your hand and let me know you've done it? Be honest. Everybody have your QR code and answer the survey. Can you do that for me, please? Can you do it for NODUP so that they can get the numbers? And are you happy about the youth symposium in general so far? You want it to get better? So let's make sure we give them good feedback so that we can do it better and over again, okay? So glad to meet all of you. Thank you, team. And each of you have a great and wonderful day. And when you meet me, I'm usually going to say this: what's happening in your world? Let's talk about it.